Hey everyone, welcome back to DemDMs. My name is Matt.
I'm Fox Ghost.
I'm Panda Ghost.
I'm Patrick.
And today we are continuing with our Season 2 reaction to Legend of Vox Machina, this time Episode 9. Last time on, we saw some unfortunate parenting methods from Vex and Vax's father.
One way to put it.
Yeah. We got another vestige, seemingly. Still kind of unclear as to what it does, so I'm hoping we get to have a tryout for it here this episode. We had Pike and Scanlan attempting to try and fix Grog from his certain state and doing
With the
some
suppository.
Yep, some interesting methods to regain his strength. So hopefully we'll see that. And we kind of wrapped it up with a interesting line of dialogue from Grog, kind of claiming that he's been killed by his uncle previously. And his uncle, being the one who currently has another vestige that they are trying to acquire. So excited to get into this one, but if you guys are excited, make sure that you put a like down on this video. Also, you're going to want to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified when other videos come out for the reaction series as we go through here towards the end of this season, as well as we're going to be doing a Q&A video here on the channel, kind of doing a bunch of different questions about D&D, about Legend of Vox Machina, about anything, but we need your questions, so be sure to submit those down in the comments section below. And we'll answer them in a video coming up here shortly, so stay tuned for that. But if that's all, I guess we're just going to slide right on into the episode.
No.
I'm feeling flashback.
Yeah, I was
maybe?
just gonna say.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck.
I always forget how brutal this freaking show is.
I know.
Yeah.
Interesting. They're not all Goliaths.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that guy looks a little scrawny for a Goliath. Is that a young Grog?
You do the herd proud. Teach them to fear the name. Grog Strongjaw.
Nailed
Without
it.
the beard.
Yeah.
Like, even in the intro, it's weird seeing him without the beard, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think there's any character in this show that best represents their character in real life as it is for Grog and Travis.
Sure. Westrun. Lovely.
Mythcarver showed me the city overrun by half-giants like Grog. Well, normal Grog.
Oh.
And one super beefy dude wore these stone gauntlets that were like glowing.
I swear, I gave all I had. There's nothing left. Well, my small friend, if you ain't got nothing for the offering, that makes you worthless, don't it? Yes, yes. Then get out of my sight.
And through the axe in his back.
Boulder patch with shears.
Saw that coming.
I could write this show, guys.
Kevdak is in there. Their leader, my uncle. Me and Kevdak, we got bad blood.
So, if we want those bad boys, we gotta fight through a bunch of regular-sized Grogs, then somehow rip them off Jumbo Grog's arms. We should do some recon.
Would you be impressed if I single-handedly infiltrated Western and retrieved said vestige?
Well, it would be the bravest thing I've ever seen you do.
Then it shall be done. Ahem. Nevosh Nevon Clue.
You don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to, but it might make you feel better.
I did things. Real bad things. Violence was all that mattered to us. Until the day met him.
I have a family.
Grandpa Wilhand?
Loot's run dry. It'll be our heads if we don't find more to offer up.
I didn't sign up to take orders from a bloody dragon. What say you, Sanro?
Someone needs to stand up to my father.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Occupado?
I'm about 4 feet too short to be one of them. Who are you people?
Just unlucky.
Name's Scanlan.
As in, Scanlan Shorthalt.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think I
Uh-oh.
know who that is.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Find yourself a pet. Zanra, wait. He's not a fighter. He's just an old fella. Hey, don't let my father catch you getting soft with these bugs. Come on. Before
His head and his head hit the floor.
I hope I can repay your kindness someday.
Stronger! Bring me that gnome's head, or I will take yours. No. Traitor!
Ow.
You have no spine, like your father before you.
I think I figured out when he was fighting the monk dude where his strength comes from.
Leave him for the scavengers. I should have died that day.
Jesus. This one arm's like
That's a lot of blood.
poking out there. Yep. Ugh.
Quickly, try to heal him.
Neverlight. Please.
Schmol.
Thank you for saving my grandfather. What you did was very brave. Grog, we can't dwell on the past. You're not like that anymore. You're different. You're my best buddies. Why is he here? Is he following us? Wait, where the fuck is Scanlan?
You've, heard of me?
Indeed, I have.
Oh no.
Kaylee here is part of my band.
Dr. Dremsel's
traveling troupe.
The herd's been going door to door demanding allegiance and gold. Anyone who comes up short is slaughtered. One thing I learned in this life, no one comes back to save you. So, Scanlan Shorthalt, what are you prepared to do?
This bitch.
Your tithe is due.
Mythcarver.
You waste my time with scraps when you wear what I covet.
Our deal stands. We'll find the gold for your precious conclave.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh!
If you do not bring me Thorjan's gold, I take your arms as payment. How long must we endure this, father? We're reduced to servants.
Hold your tongue.
We should be hunting these dragons, teaching them to fear us. Instead, your weakness has us groveling like...
More great parenting advice. But like, you'll eventually die and you just beat the shit out of your son. Like,
Well, I wonder if like their group like descends through lineage or if it's like the strongest leads kind of mentality. Right?
yeah, maybe, but like, even if they were, you would think you'd want to make your son the strongest possible.
Yeah.
Right?
It definitely seems like he has some kind of like governance over the others, right? Because it seems like they were asking his opinion on things a lot too, so.
Yep, this gnome turd stole from Kevdak. Had to run her down myself. Do I know you, Slim? Oh, you better. I'm Kevdak's kin, and he don't like waiting, mustache.
Yeah, I think it's like a thing
Nice
like every
plan,
short
Mikey.
rest he would get
Hey,
more
what's with calling me a
health
turd?
maybe, or more strength
sorry.
back.
That was like, acting.
Don't worry about me, little lady. I got tricks.
I'm not worried about you, you cock. From what I've heard, it figures you'd run.
Did you just call him a cuck?
What's interesting is I feel like they're making it seem like Scanlan doesn't know her band, and he is actually a former member in the campaign.
Nice, buddy. Oh. Huh. Happy to see me, huh?
I mean, no. Sorry to interrupt. Can we get the fuck out of here?
Back the way we came.
Follow Grog, okay? Once he gets you through the gates, make for the tree line.
Come on.
Okay then, we'll go first. Grog, you can take up the rear.
Poor Grog.
I'm not going.
Grog, I love you, but what are you doing?
They're afraid of me. And that's not gonna change unless someone takes down the herd.
Your belt looks like it's wearing you.
Buddies, we gotta stick together.
Not this time. I have to do this on my own. You said I'm different now. But if I leave, I'm as weak as he always said I was. Standing up for the little folk. That's what makes me different from them.
But
That's what makes you
what if
strong,
I
Grog.
need you?
Your beard gives you a +10 strength bonus. Go! Fight them.
But questioning my leadership is something I cannot abide. Are there none who would challenge the Thunderlord? Captain!
Remember me.
And spoiler and cliffhanger.
Illegal cliffhanger.
We definitely got a lot more Grog backstory this episode. Yeah, what's interesting is that whole thing, and a lot of their backstories, but mainly Grog's, was like their intro for a while. Like they just went through and kind of did their backstory when they first started streaming the game, and Grog's was always kind of just detailing this story of how he met Pike and all those things. But yeah, man, that's really cool. It's interesting her hair color in that scene.
Yeah. When that
ba-
changed,
We'll have to see. I don't know if we're gonna learn. There's a reason for it in the canon, but I don't know if they are gonna go into that yet. So we'll
Damn you, Matt, with their no spoiler.
go watch campaign 1.
It's gonna take too long.
I'm sure it has something to do with the Everlight.
Probably.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Because I don't actually know. I'm just speculating.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is that all of this is kind of canonical with obviously the campaign, right? But there's also material out there through the comic books and everything else that they've put out, right? That actually kind of detail prior to her hair color turning. So yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. One of the things that they mentioned his last name here, Strongjaw, right? One of the things that was always funny to me and to everybody else that was watching was when they found out what his father's name was. He for some reason, way back in the beginning of the campaign, mentioned his last name was Strongjaw, and then later on they found out that his father's name was Stonejaw. Strongjaw. Very typical D&D player character name in there. But yeah, very cool. I'm interested because I think this is obviously, like you said, playing really heavily into the Stormlord stuff. Talking about where does his strength come from, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because I don't believe during the campaign, I might be wrong, so let me know down in the comments, but I don't believe in the campaign he was still suffering from the effects of Craven Edge at this point. And so he was, his normal groggy self.
Yes.
So it's an interesting choice to keep him appearing weak, but becoming confident and strong in that aspect of things. And it'll be interesting to see do we see kind of a for lack of a better term, a magical transformation of him back to buffness, right? Or are they going to keep him shrimpy throughout the entire fight, and then
I believe the term is felt.
Yes. when he puts on the gauntlets, does he become strong again then, too?
Right, yeah.
But but yeah.
I don't know. I hope.
yeah.
I hope. Yeah. I mean, it is a little like leading up to like this breaking of a suspension of disbelief, right? Because like, you already know that he's gonna go in. He's gonna fight his uncle, right? And he's gonna win. And it's just gonna be like, you can all like, yes, it's a fantasy show, but like, Scrawny Grog isn't gonna be able to beat, like
I mean,
a guy that's 4 times his width.
Right, exactly. Like the suspension of disbelief, has a limitation, right?
Sure. I think maybe we'll see a reason for it, just based off of I think what the answer to that question is, right? Where does his strength come from? I think we'll see a reason for that. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because like during the campaign, like leading up to this fight, I think they kind of like very much to what they did to us here, kind of left it on a cliffhanger right before the fight, and so like leading up to the night of that fight, like Travis was like a nervous wreck, trying to get ready to like have to deal with that, right? I mean, that's a pretty up until this point, there really wasn't a whole lot of like Grog focused story in the campaign, and this is kind of like, here's your time to shine, but here's also a time where you could just die, right? Because his uncle beat the crap out of him before, right?
Right.
And obviously, in the campaign, he is also a barbarian, so you're kind of on even playing field at the very least, right? Not even so, because you have the Titanstone Knuckles on the one side of that, right?
Right, exactly.
But yes, we all noticed a particular gnomish female appear this episode.
I don't know a lot about campaign 1, but this is one thing that I do know about, and I hope they don't take it too weird.
I mean, he finds out in a very particular set of... He finds out, what that connection is there. A little bit close to too late, right? Almost too late. So we'll see what comes of that, right? It's just... It was also interesting because they decided, it seemed, to change the fact that Scanlan didn't know Dr. Dranzel, which is the kind of like half-orcish gentleman there. Because I believe that's part of his backstory, is that he was with that kind of musical troupe, traveling town to town, singing at different places and things like that, and then came across Vox Machina. And that's kind of how that group came together, right? So it's just an interesting choice to make that not the case. As well as there's a particular group in the Tal'Dorei campaign guide that Dr. Dranzel is a part of, that wasn't really explained in the campaign, so I'm interested to see if there's like hints of that as well, to see if we get more of that. But Panda, you got your first look at Westrun here.
Yeah.
Your, like full on full episode there. Your character from my campaign that we set in Tal'Dorei was from Westrun. How do you like where you're from, bud?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's definitely cool to see my character's, pretty much his backstory, right? Honestly, I kind of wish I would have known some of this, know more about this and such leading up to that campaign. But honestly, like, I don't think it wouldn't have impacted the campaign had I or not, right?
Yeah, but just knowing and kind of reading through the campaign guide, I'm recognizing a lot of kind of like background locations that they like show in like one shot or something like that. I'm like, oh, I think I know what that is. And so, they're definitely obviously they have the roadmap from Matt Mercer basically saying this is what Westrun looks like and what's there, and kind of going from that. But this is definitely like, from what you got, because you guys all went to Westrun in that game,
right?
But you saw it obviously after everything had kind of been rebuilt,
right?
And restructured. But it's definitely, it's almost like paramilitary right now. It's a little bit different of a state than what I would imagine Whitestone was in during the Briarwoods, right? Like you're seeing like people are hiding, but there's also seems to be people like milling about the streets and things like that, and you know, they seem to have like fortifications around the main town square and things. But yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to see if we get to like come back here maybe in a future season, if everything kind of gets cleared up, kind of see it more in its prime, if you will, right?
Yeah, and I'm also wondering, will we get to see a certain wizard in this series?
Sure. Yes. There is another archmage similar to Alora, who kind of lives around Westrun, at least you know, close by, and is kind of a touchstone of the campaign. But I don't necessarily. They haven't really mentioned him yet, so I don't know if they'll show that or not.
Yeah, I'll be interesting if they'll touch on that.
Yeah, I was kind of mean to him in my game.
We never really did go back and check on him either.
Yeah.
Oops.
But I mean, also, just
He's
Patrick,
alive.
your character from my game was also based in Westrun, so this is where your character's from as well. It all comes back around, you know. But yeah, it's neat because it's, you know, and obviously anyone who's played in the Tal'Dorei campaign setting, it's weird kind of seeing the playground you played in, right? And like at a different point than you remember seeing it, right? Or imagining it, for lack of a better term, right? But that's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. We didn't get any thing from the you know, Feywild group this episode.
Yep.
So interesting to see if we might you know, see them, you know, come in at like maybe a more opportune time or something like that. We don't know exactly where Garmelie or whoever that was dropped them off, right? So they could be, you know, back into Silra, right? Who knows?
We don't
or when,
whenever or wherever exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there is some issue with traveling back and forth between the Feywild, so we'll see if that comes into play as well. But yeah, if you guys want to find out what happens next and follow along with us, be sure to smite that like button, subscribe, and sneak attack that notification bell to be notified when the next episode reaction comes out, because we will definitely be watching the finale of this season. As well as you guys want to stick around because we're going to be doing a Q&A shortly here in the coming weeks, you know, with questions from you guys and everything else. So if you want to ask questions and have us answer those, be sure to put those down in the comment section below as well. And just kind of stay tuned. It's an exciting time for D&D and DemDMs right now. So just stay tuned. We got some surprises up our sleeves, I think, for you guys in the coming weeks. So, but until then, we will see you later when we slide on into DemDMs. All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.